review with you this recertification test, which is now out of date. That's why I feel like I'm not violating ethics to do this, because in July they will publish a new test. Now, those of you who have been around as long as Foy and me will tell you that on this 100 question test, they'll rearrange a dozen of them in the order, and they'll take 5 off and put 5 new on, but it's basically the same test every year. The reason I want to do this is all of you have indicated your, pardon me, I'm going to put this on silent. I left it on ring in case somebody called to tell me they were having troubles getting here or whatever. But all of you have indicated your interest in upgrading to 7, 6, or whatever. And this is just what I know from being an instructor for a long, long time. I'm not really sure when I became an instructor, but it was around 93, somewhere in there. So if you can score in the 90s on this, you won't have trouble passing the state test when you make grade 6. But Luis can tell you, and I don't know, Ed, and I'm not sure if some of maybe Foy or you're taking the state test before. It is quite a bit harder than this one. Yeah, it is harder. But when you're a grade 6, you only need to score 75% on the state test. But if you're scoring, 84 on this, you're not going to score 75 on the state test. It's that much harder. But if you're scoring in the 90s on this, you can get a 75 on the state test, I think, with some reasonable degree of effort. The other contribution I hope to make this evening is this. Lots of times, if you know what to ignore in the question and what to pay attention to, as soon as you recognize what you should pay attention to, then the answer is obvious. There can be no other, even if it's multiple choice. It's like, oh, there can only be one thing. For example, if it says a player takes a throw in and then immediately steps on the field and swats the ball away with his hand, okay? That's all you need to know. A player on the field hit the ball with his hand. What is that? It's a handball. It's a direct free kick. There aren't. And because these questions don't involve more than one violation. They don't ask you, should it be a direct free kick and a caution or something. They just say direct free kick, indirect free kick, drop ball. Okay? Or they'll say yellow card, red card, first a yellow card, then a red card, or nothing at all. So they don't mix the violations. So it's just one category. So what we'll do is we're going to go through this test, and in a little over an hour we should be done, and then we're done. Accept questions, and of course I want you to ask questions along the way, because the other part of this is if you don't know the answer, it's like, wow, I don't know. Then I want to show you where to find the answer. Okay? At home, does anyone need a copy of, and this is, again, old, so I'm happy to give it to you. It's just 2 years old. Guide to Procedures. Does everyone have this? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, you want to take one and pass them back, and how about Guide to Procedures? Who else? Hey, Evan, actually. Anybody need the Guide to Procedures or Laws of the Game as well? Yeah.
Let me have one of them. This one. No, the blue one. Blue.
Okay. Now, okay, guys, listen up, please. This test here, you have to return this to me. Okay, no exceptions. Anything else I give you tonight is yours to keep. Because this is extra stuff, and like I say, it's out of date now, so it could just end up in a recycle bin if you don't take it. Pardon me? Yes, yes. These are going to be shredded. So, yeah. Now, in general, let me just give you an orientation to this test, okay? And like I say, this is pretty much true year after year. It may vary one or two numbers, but there are 25 true-false questions, okay? Hey, Mark. There's a sign in, and there are 25 true or false questions, okay, on this test. So that means if you miss all the true and false, you're in trouble, because that means you got to get all the others correct just to get the minimum score. And if you're grade 7, then your score has to be 85. So the key to understanding or answering correctly true and false questions are, the key is to identify what is being asked. So if, for example, it says a player in a red shirt with black shorts is playing against an opponent with red shorts and black shorts, you know, there's nothing in the laws. We don't care about the colors of the jerseys, uniforms. That's all extraneous stuff. We have to get down to, so you can ask yourself in a true-false question, what is the question being asked? Is it about Law 12, you know, fouls, misconduct? Is it about Law 11, offside? Is it about safety, goals being anchored, corner flags being too short, things? What is the question? What is being asked? And then that will begin to lead you to the correct answer. Is this true or is this false? There are 12 questions in this test about offside. Now, I will tell you, in the 2 years that we gave this test, very, very few people miss any of the offside questions, which is good. That pleased me, obviously, as an instructor, as an assessor, and as a fellow referee. When we're out there on the touchline, assuming we're level with the second to the last defender, which is a big assumption, we understand the offside law. And I will just tell you, I was at the State Cup Saturday and just doing a lot of, you know, courtesy assessments. Very impressed with the accuracy of the offside decisions. A couple of the calls were a little sophisticated in that, you know, you had a player in an offside position coming back to get a ball. The AR sometimes having to wait to see which player touched the ball first, the guy in the offside position or a teammate coming from an onside position. So some sophistication there. And having watched you guys throughout the season in different venues, I congratulate you on your understanding of the offside law. So when we come to the offside in here, that's 12 questions I think we can just safely skip over, because like I say, having graded hundreds of these, literally hundreds of these, there just aren't very many offside questions missed. So I think you've got that. So that's 37, and then there are 5 questions that the answer is either A or B, like allow the game to continue or stop the game. So that's 42, yes?
Yeah, on one thing on offside that
Okay.
came up at State Cup
Okay.
is placement of the ball.
Ah,
You know what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
You already know.
that's very good.
Yeah.
And rather than tell you the answer, let's look here. And if I've got one extra copy, and you can always, Andrew and Mark, why don't you just share? Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that, page 44. There's a chart on page 45. In fact, it's not quite in the middle, but very close to the dead middle of the book. Page 44, location of the restart for offside. So the point is, it's a very important question, and it's great that I know the answer, but I want you to know where to find the answer, because obviously this is not the only time that we have to go, well, I'm not sure about the answer, and we have to go look it up. And I do the same thing. When I assess, I keep a copy of this in my car, in my truck, and sometimes I go look at it because I'm like, man, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I remember correctly. So offside is punished where the infringement occurred. In other words, the indirect free kick should be taken from the place where the offside player was when the teammate played the ball. So, Trent is my teammate. I'm in an offside position. He puts the ball into space. I get up there by the wall and touch it. But I was here when the ball was last touched by my teammate. So you bring it back to here, not up there where I touched it. Even though we're waiting, because maybe Luis, also our teammate, is running from an onside position, and AR Miguel has to wait to see who's going to get it, okay? So even though that question is, okay, finally, George touched it, then Miguel has to bring us back here. So as the AR, what we have to do is keep up, put the flag up, get the whistle, and then come back and give the signal, okay? That it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
That came up. Because it was just, U-17 boys that are fast as lightning. And the ball's played, and you're not sure which guy's going to get it, but it was this guy. But we're already 30 yards down the field before he actually gets to it. And then bringing the ball back up here, the center referee and I were disagreeing on it. I didn't make an issue of it. I just said, okay, we'll talk about it. I can wait until halftime or the end of the game to talk about it. Right.
So, yeah, that's a good point. I don't argue with the center referee, even if I know he's wrong.
No,
I just say, it's fine. You tell me what you want, and then you got it.
Right.
Because the weight's on him anyway. If he screws it up, they're not going to come to me, the lowly AR, right? Now, here's another thing on this subject, though. Boy, this is a great question and very important, and turning into a little bit off the subject of the exam, but nevertheless very important. Especially for you guys, because you're advancing now in your skill and your understanding and in grade. Just get it in your head. There is no hurry. Okay? I mean, yeah, we have to hurry to keep up with play, but now we've got a decision to make. There's no hurry. Get the flag in the correct hand. Think about, wait a minute, what am I doing? And then make the signal. Okay? And if the referee has looked at you and stopped looking, just stand there. He'll look back, right? They'll start screaming, look at your linesman. Okay? So just take your time, get it correct, because that looks better and makes a better impression than this. I don't know. Right? Okay, so just take your time, get it correct. All right? Same with that offside. So you've run. Now, of course, you're going to sprint back. I mean, I'm not telling you to walk. But it's okay that it takes a second or 2 seconds to get back. And the other thing on the offside, especially if the player has a run 40 yards, Dave Williams, and I know Ford remembers Dave Williams, and some of you do, but he's the father of North Carolina soccer referees. And he said something that I've never forgotten. Soccer is not a game of inches, and it is not a game of seconds. So it's okay. Take your time. And if I was standing here, but for the free kick, we put the ball here, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a few feet. It's okay. Yeah. Right, especially when the situation Boyce described, U17, maybe he's run 30 yards. Well, that means he was pretty near center line